and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Optimus Prime Pen, and I love this pen. This was an Asian exclusive, originally released in September of 2014. Not quite sure what the real retail of this guy was, but that's about the time he started showing up on some online retailers and was going for approximately $65. As of the time of this recording, you can probably find him online for less. I got him for quite a bit less than that. So yeah, this is just a pen, and I absolutely love this concept. I fell in love with the idea. I'm gonna say right off the bat, though, I don't feel like the execution was that great. I find this to be very fidgety. Fidgety is a new word that I just invented. But I do find him to be a bit fidgety. There's a lot of ball joints, which is great for articulation later in robot mode, but it really makes this guy difficult to transform and to get into pen mode or back and forth. So, you know, a lot of ball joints just popping off while you're transforming, and we're probably going to see some of that during the transformation. He comes in this really cool little box here. He comes packaged in robot mode. And it's just a box and some cool. You see, this is weird. They show the robot mode in two different poses. He is extremely posable, which is really nice. But they don't really go out of their way to show you their pen, other than this little bitty image over here. But other than that, that's it. There's an instruction sheet inside. That's about it. Now, as far as the pen goes, he writes quite well, actually, surprisingly well. The bottom of the pen right here, that's got a little pen cap. You can just pull that out. And you got a little slot up here where you can put the cap up so you don't lose the cap, which is nice. I like that they did that. And then he actually writes quite well. There we go. We'll just, you know, for somebody who sits down and takes notes for the great part of the day, I go through a lot of pens, and a lot of my pens just write crappy. I find that this one actually writes rather well. So there you go. He writes quite well. This is really more of a novelty pen, though, if you ask me. This is not something that I'm going to take to work. And like I said, I spend a good part of the day writing notes, and yeah, this is not something I'm going to take to work and write with. But it is kind of cool that it does it. It's a cool concept, and I do love the concept of that. Here in pen mode, he's approximately 5.5 inches long, and there are no really other pens that I have to compare him with, so there it is in my hand. And, you know, I thought he would be uncomfortable to write with, but he's not. He's pretty comfortable to write with. So let's get right into transformation. We're going to start right at the top here, and just pull his arms up, and his elbows or his shoulders are right on ball joints. So you can see right off the bat, things are going to start to pop off, and that's really kind of the drawback for me with this figure, is that he has so many joints that are relatively loose, and that kind of kills it for me a little bit. But it is, see, there you go again, the ball joints on the shoulders, or biceps rather, they tend to pop a lot. But he is littered with ball joints everywhere, which makes him really, really posable. And I really like the robot mode on this guy. It's an absolute beautiful robot mode you're about to see. Bring these down, bring the head up about halfway so that you can get this guy back down again. And there we go. Now you can reach in here, hopefully. And he is kind of small, so I've even had, there it goes, click into place, I've even had the faceplate pop off on me at one point, which was really kind of weird. That's the upper body all done there. We're going to split the legs, and going to take the rifle, which is the actual writing part of the pen, out. It's clipped right in here, and this is another part that really kind of disappointed me. The first time that I transformed him, you can see that the rifle stores right in there, in between the legs, right there. And you can see those two little pink spots. That's because the rifle clips in, or pegs in between the legs, just like so. You can see those little ports right in there and right in there. And you've got little pegs right all over the side of the rifle. Well, these two pegs broke off the first time that I transformed them. I'll bring these... let me bring this down so that I can show you in the better detail where that is. Actually, that kind of disappears when you transform them. So that, yeah, let's do that. Let's bring these guys back up again. And you can see right in there is the 2 pegs that broke off of the rifle. And that happened the first time I transformed them. So be careful. If you get this guy, you know, be sure to be gentle. I mean, I was being gentle enough. I was following the instructions when I did it, and it still happened. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. This peg has to... There's a peg right here in the center that has to rotate around. And this is another part that I have popped off pieces a lot with. This little piece right here has to rotate and then slide back up. And I find this piece extremely difficult to work with. And I may need to go get a tool to do that with. It's just not going around for me right now. Let me get the rest of the legs transformed, and we'll save that for last. See if I can do something at the end of the transformation, maybe. So yeah, it's one of those things. I like the concept, but like I said, the execution I think could have been a little better. It's a little too fidgety. There are too many small moving parts and parts like this that are just require way too much force to get them to work, and when they don't, things tend to break, and I'm just really afraid to break something. See, that's just no good. And I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave that right on camera so you can see exactly just how fidgety this guy can be. So there, that rotated all the way around. So once it's rotated all the way around, you're supposed to push it up, and that'll make the legs. So now that we have the legs done and the upper body done, I suppose we'll just put everything back together. Ball joint that there. And bring the head back up. And you can see on the head, I already have a stress mark right there on the ear as well. So that's no good. This guy is going to be more for display than anything else. Actually, the first time I got him and I transformed him to pen, and I, you know, back to robot, and this broke, and I started getting all the stress marks and everything like that, I swore that I was just not going to transform him ever again, and I was just not even going to do a review on him. So I decided against, and I decided to go ahead and do the review anyway. So that's why I transformed them in the pen mode before I started the video, so that I could transform him back in the robot and leave him, because I'm probably not going to transform him again after that. Again, I've got some stress marks, and you saw how difficult it is. The concept of the transformation is simple enough. It's a simple enough transformation, but there are, again, so many small moving parts and loose ball joints and just little pin parts here and there. I had some parts that were installed backwards that I actually had to take apart. So because I'm afraid of breaking him, again, you can see that the ear is just not looking good there. I'm afraid that if I try to transform him again, I'm going to break him. So I am probably never going to transform him ever again, and I'm just going to have him on my shelf as a display piece. But there's the Optimus Prime Pen in robot mode, and as you can see, he is absolutely gorgeous. I love this robot mode. Here in robot mode, Optimus stands approximately 4.5 inches tall. He is extremely detailed and just articulated. Absolutely love the way this guy looks. Look at this head mold. Love that head sculpt. For as small as that is, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Just, you know, I'm afraid of breaking that again. And just, you can see all the detail in him. He looks fantastic. Let's see if we can get him. There you go. Back in this shape there, or back in the frame there. Articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so you can give him a little bit of side to side. You can turn it around. Shoulders, 2 ball joints there and there, so you can bring the shoulders up and down. You can bring them in and out as well and rotate them all the way around. You saw that you had another ball joint at the bicep, so you got plenty of rotation there. No turn. That bicep there is simply for rotation. It makes me question, why would you go with a ball joint there other than instead of a mushroom peg? That would have really helped with the popping off issue that's got. Double jointed elbow right there, again for transformation, so that gives you a nice range of motion there. And you've got a swivel at the wrists. You've got a little bit of a nab crunch right there and a little bit of a waist rotation. As you saw, the waist is also on a ball joint, but you do have these skirts, so these skirts are going to hinder you a little bit. You can move these around. They're also on ball joints, so you can move them around a little bit, as you can see there. You've got the, again, ball joints everywhere, ball joints everywhere, ball joint at the hips, in and out, forward and backward. You got a rotation as well. You got a double joint again at the knees, so you can go all the way back. And then you have a ball joint at the ankle. So extremely articulated, beautiful, very posable figure. And then you've got the rifle, which of course you can take the cap off of the rifle and use that to write with if you want. In fact, why don't we try that? Let's get the, what did I do with my notebook? I have no idea. There it is. So there you go. So you can write with the cap of the, or with the rifle by itself, which is pretty neat. Get that back into place, and I'm going to give him his rifle because he has been transformed for the last time. This guy is going to make a beautiful display piece. So if you're into collectible pens, I guess he is a great novelty to have. And if you're into collectible Transformers or Optimus Prime figures that don't transform, this is a great figure to have. And I say that because, yeah, as you saw, transformation is fidgety. I am glad that I did not pay $65 for this guy. I am glad that I waited. I found them for less than 20. I want to say somewhere between 15 and 20 bucks is where I found them. And as it turns out, I had some credit already. So I ended up only paying like $2 for him. So I'm real happy that that's all I paid for him. 15 or 20 bucks is not bad. Just be aware that he is fidgety. He's very delicate. He may break on you. If you know, it's not a toy. It's not for transforming back and forth. Either you're going to use him as a pen and have it as a novelty, or you're going to transform him into robot mode and just leave him on your shelf, as I am going to do. Real quick for a comparison, let's put him next to the current Voyager Optimus Prime that's on shelves right now for Titan Returns. So Titan's Return, I always say that wrong, but there you go, just for a quick comparison. So yeah, like I said, I like it. Don't pay $65 for it. 15 or less is okay, and just know that you probably should not be transforming him a lot. He's going to make a great display piece, but yeah, don't get him for transformation purposes because you're probably going to break it. Okay, and I think with that, that pretty much covers the Transformers Optimus Prime Pen. What did you think of this toy, and what would you like to see me review next? Let me know by leaving me a comment, give me some thumbs up, subscribe and share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.